How about 6-0? That's what the Eagles are going for. Now, this is their fourth road game in 6 games, but they're hoping for a ground stop against the Jets. We're going to break it all down on Eagles Game Plan, presented by Toyota. Starts now.
Hey, give that thing, take action. 1, 2, 3, take off.
Hey everybody, welcome to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. I am joined by the great Mike Quick and the great Ike Reese. And the Eagles are 12-0 all time against the Jets. That's the best record one team against another in NFL history. Having an unbeaten record. That's pretty cool. Hopefully they keep it going.
Good nugget there, Clark.
Yeah, you beat the Jets once or twice. So did you.
Yeah.
Everybody
Every 4
beats the
years.
Jets.
Every 4 years
Yeah.
when we play them.
Yeah. Well, what are you looking at? What's the main thing you're looking at in this matchup, Ike?
Well, I got to start with QB1. I think his game has gotten better and looks more comfortable, and it resembles so much more of his MVP season last year over the last 3 weeks. Started in Tampa, continued to grow against Washington, and then I think you saw the full spectrum last week against Los Angeles. He was dangerous with his legs. He was dangerous through the air. I thought he made tough runs when he needed to make tough runs. I thought the drive right before the half, the throw to A.J. Brown, was a pinpoint accurate throw that A.J. made the one-handed catch with. I just thought Jalen, he just continues to evolve as a quarterback. And the fact that the game gets bigger and the pressure gets bigger, he never wilts from the pressure. He just seems to rise to the occasion. So I expect that to continue as he moves forward.
Guys, I was so impressed with the offensive coordinators. Going into that game, you think about McVay and his innovation on offense and the things that he likes to do. Raheem Morris on the defensive side and the things that he can throw at you. But I thought both the Eagles coordinators were outstanding in that game. You watched the way they were able to attack that offense, and especially once you saw what they were doing, the adjustments that they were making, and Sean Desai with the timely blitzing and the way they were able to get at the quarterback, that to me was the difference in the game, the way they took it over in the second half because of the pressures, because of the hits on the quarterback, and on the offensive side, the same. Once they really got rolling, I thought the way that they were able to attack that defense last week was what you want to see. Young defensive coordinators really coming of age and showing, putting their stamp on that football game.
And it was the Dallas Goedert game. When you have a tight end go over 100 yards, you're going to get some tape study with tight ends coach Jason Michael. Here he is with Fran Duffy. This is presented by Chickies and Pete's.
All right, joining us this week here on Tape Study, presented by Chickies and Pete's, the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles tight ends coach Jason Michael. And coach, not too much to say here. The first 100-yard performance, not just for Dallas Goedert this season, but by any tight end in the NFL. And it started early, 4 catches on the opening drive. This was the second one here, a 19-yard catch and run here on a smokescreen.
Yeah, it was good to see. Obviously, you know, this play here in particular, I mean, he had come back, this was actually the second catch, right? He caught the play before, he got a chance to catch a shallow, but this is just a look or a smoke in the slot here. And you can see, you know, really this is an extension of our run game. And Jalen does an unbelievable job here of seeing, obviously, the defender walked out over Dallas, you know, and in the cadence late here as he comes down with the softness of the coverage from the safety, you know, we've got a run here where, you know, it's a little bit of an option to be able to throw this into the slot. And Jalen does a good job of getting it to him quick. And then, you know, we get a chance to see here what Dallas does in space. I mean, this is a violent run. Obviously, the yards after the catch that Dallas gets here, this is something, you know, this is a strength of his, and you can see the safety come up to tackle. You know, he gets a chance to be violent on that and use his stiff arm on the second defender and gain yards, the hidden yards that you see after the catch that he's able to get is obviously a positive for us.
Well, that's the thing. You said it's an extension of the run game. I feel like most tight ends in the NFL, maybe 95% of those guys, that's because 5 or 6 yards. He's able to turn that into 19 because of that skill set that you described. Now, he was able to finish this drive off with his first touchdown of the year. Take us through this play.
Yeah, so he's running, you know, what we call a nod route or a post route here in the red zone. And as you can see, we've got a post safety coverage, safety in the middle of the field. Okay, the corner here, okay, has a third to this side. And Dallas does a great job here of trusting. You know, we end up getting, you know, 3 guys out, okay, into the boundary here with Smitty leaving and running, you know, out. The halfback leaving, running to the flat. So Dallas does a good job here of trusting that this defender is going to work to the flat. And he's keeping space away from the safety. He knows he can spray or outside release on this to keep separation away from that safety in the middle of the field and still keep leverage on the coverage. And you can see here, okay, as we release, the corner sinks. Okay, Jalen does a great job here with his eyes of keeping this middle of the field safety to the field or to his left here to where he doesn't squeeze to Dallas. And then, you know, Jalen gets his eyes back and And on this route, Dallas is going to work, somewhere around the goal line, running that post route, nod route, okay, and keeping leverage on the corner here. And then he does a great job of just finishing the play, okay, with a catch in traffic at the end.
And then another play just kind of showing off his rare skill set, this 49-yarder, deep ball down the left sideline. What made this play go?
Yeah, so as you can see here, Dallas is just running a little bit of an underneath route, a little bit of a hook route, and then Devontae has more of a post route. Okay, our first responsibility is to be able to grab the underneath coverage. Okay, and then as this play goes, okay, you can see 97 here sits on the route, and then the corner and the safety essentially turn this into a double team on this route to Devontae. So when that happens, we've got a chance to be able to spin out, as Dallas does here, okay, and be able to work for width and stay away from that flat defender. Does a good job of getting width. Jalen obviously does a great job of putting the ball over the top and staying away. And we talk about this of getting width away from where the pursuit's coming from. As you can see, it's a great ball by Jalen, good catch by Dallas. Obviously, we'd like to have seen him not stumble here and see what happens. But he does a great job of protecting the football. And then again, you can just see the violence, okay, and how physical he is with the ball in his hand at the end of this run.
Yeah, nice little right hook there at the end of that play from Dallas.
Sure.
You mentioned the double team on Devontae Smith there. We talked about this last week in terms of Dallas drawing a lot of attention away from other receivers to open up things for others. I'm sure frustrating to start the year, right? Not getting the numbers from a production standpoint. What was Dallas's mindset going through the first few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, any skill receiver, any receiver tight end, I mean, they obviously want the football, but they understand, in our offense with the personnel we have, it can be week to week. And I know that's been talked about of, 1 week it's going to be, like it was for Dallas this week. And you've got to be able to go through that. But how the system is set up and all of those things and the selflessness, that these guys have, Dallas has, the first 4 weeks of being able to be productive in the run game, be productive as a pass protector. He was staying true to what it is and knew that his time would come. And obviously this was the week that it came out.
No doubt. And you talked about his ability to impact every phase of the offense. We know that Dallas, one of the best run blockers in the league as well to position. Take us through this play, a long run here for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, this is a counter play where he becomes the second puller. So, if you go back here just at the beginning, we get a chance to get a double team, okay, on this defensive tackle here, where they're working back, okay, to really number 4 here. So we get a chance to get 2 pullers. Sua, the guard, is the first puller, okay, and Dallas knows, okay, on this that he's going to end up taking the second defender or this linebacker over the top. With this counter play, DeAndre, okay, is going to get behind the second puller in terms of Dallas. Sua does a great job, okay, of kicking out the defensive end here, and then Dallas wraps tight to this double team, okay, to where the linebacker is going to fit and does a good job of fitting this thing inside out, and DeAndre does a good job of trusting that and being able to hit it up inside the second puller.
Guys, listen up. We took it to him physically. Any road win in this league against a good team like that, we took him to him physically. Defense, first half, they had 2 possessions, had 14 points. They had 99 yards the rest of the game. Great job. Offense, 454 yards on the day. Guys, growth mindset. We're 5-0. We got to have that same hunger and dog mentality going up there to New York next week. Enjoy this right now, though, and enjoy it tomorrow again. All right, and then I'll see you Wednesday. All right, here we go. Let's play. We got a lot to be.
Nick Sirianni with that growth mindset, trying to go to 6-0 at the Jets. Let's bring in Greg Cosell from NFL Films. And you've been studying this Jets defense. They've got 9 takeaways. They are flying around, aren't they, Greg?
John, this is a really good defense. They're fast, they're physical. They don't play a ton of man coverage, although that will increase at times on 3rd down. They don't blitz a lot, but when they do blitz, they save it for critical situations in games, and they're really good at it. And there was one really good example last week against the Denver Broncos. You get into the 2-minute situation where they really needed pressure, and they came with a blitz. Normally the blitzer for them is Quincy Williams, one of their linebackers. This was 2nd and 6, and let's kind of walk through this. They dialed it up really, really well. Let's start with what we call a loaded front, and that's where there's 3 defensive linemen to one side of the offensive center. Now, opposite that load, they had Mosley, the linebacker, on the ball in the B gap. He's essentially a stand-up 3 technique opposite the load. Now, look at Quincy Williams. He's off the ball. He's outside of Mosley, but inside the wide 9 defensive end Huff, but he's not on the ball. He's off the line of scrimmage. So this is really well schemed right now. So you know what's going to happen here? Mosley, from being on the ball, he's going to drop out to play his man coverage responsibility. When that happens, the offensive guard, he looks inside to the loaded front side. That left the B gap wide open, and Williams, as the fifth rusher, he hit it clean with speed and explosiveness for the sack on Wilson. Wilson had no chance whatsoever. Those two linebackers, Williams and Mosley, they are as fast a nickel linebacking duo as there is in the league.
Greg, do you see them bringing from all three levels? I know that you're going to get Mosley and you're going to get Williams, those linebackers, but how much do you see them bringing it also from the third level of that defense when they want to apply pressure?
Not a lot, Hugh, but you will see Whitehead, who's a really good safety. Every once in a while, he'll be part of the pressures. And, you know, one of the things people talk about a lot of their corners, pretty much up to this point, Sauce Gardner has been the left corner and DJ Reed has been the right corner. Gardner has not been a matchup corner.
All right, Greg, thanks a lot. We're going to see you later in the show. And the one thing about this Jets defense, you can run on them. They're giving up 146 rushing yards a game. The Broncos ran on them. How well is DeAndre Swift running the ball, and how does that set up the passing game?
I think we're seeing a different style runner. It reminds me of Miles last year, right? I think Miles finally put it all together, understanding, trusting his blocking, sticking with the play design, and it led to him having the best year of his career, over 1,300 yards. I'm noticing a lot of the same things with DeAndre Swift. Out in Detroit, you kind of labeled him a combo back, a third down type of a back. But I think since he's come here and under this coaching and understanding what they want from the run game, he's bought into it. He's running with physicality. He's running behind his pads. And most importantly, he's not trying to hit a home run every time he touches the ball. If it's there, that's great, but he usually just sticks with what's available to him in the play. And I think you're seeing a different style runner in DeAndre Swift under this coaching.
He understands that he's got probably the best offensive line in football in front of him. And so when you have that, you have to be able to trust those guys. And you press the hole. Jamal Singleton, the running back coach, I think he does a fantastic job with these guys, making sure that they understand that that's who's in front of you. And you trust these guys, you stick your nose in there, and he's really good at it. I love, though, when he gets to the second level, his shiftiness, his ability to make people miss. I think he's such a dynamic runner. And, oh, by the way, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, too. And that just adds to the offense, his ability to catch the ball.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. And let's talk about that Eagles run defense. I mean, teams almost stop running against them. They're the best run defense in the NFL. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing solid team defense, right? We always talk about doing your job and trusting your teammates to do their job. And that's what you're seeing in this run defense. Great job up front. We know the interior part of this defense has been outstanding. We've talked about them all year long. But give a little credit to these defensive ends / outside linebackers as well. Being able to hold the edge, hold their gap responsibility. And then I want to give some credit to our linebackers. You know, being able to come downhill, playing downhill as opposed to catching guys. They're playing fast, but it starts with the guys up front. You got to win at the line of scrimmage, first and foremost, and then you got to have that second level of defense do their job. And that's what I'm seeing, whether it's Morrow or whether it's Cunningham. These linebackers are doing a great job of playing off of each other. And they're really exemplifying what team defense is. When you have a great run defense, that means everybody has to do their job.
And they've got a big challenge this week. Breece Hall of the Jets. He looks like he's over that ACL injury. In fact, the pitch count is gone. He had a career-high 22 rushes against the Denver Broncos. 177 yards, Greg Cosell. How good is Breece looking?
Well, first of all, he's a really good back. But hearing you guys talk about the run defense, this game, more than any of the previous games that the Eagles have played, the opponent has to be able to run the ball to some degree. So what does that mean, guys? They're going to need deception. They're going to need misdirection. They're going to need angles. They're going to need all those things to generate some form of a run game. And last week, Hall had a 72-yard touchdown run against the Denver Broncos, which encompassed all those things. So let's take a look at it. First of all, they're in 21 personnel. They had a fullback on the field, and that got the Broncos in their base front, 5-2, which you'll see from the Eagles. Now, this is a fascinating concept. We want to start from the wide angle here because you're going to get jet action by Xavier Gipson. And what that does, it does two things that are really important. It expands the outside linebacker to the jet motion side, which sets up the block by Allen Lazard. It also gets the safety out of the box. Those two things are really, really important. Then when you look at it from the end zone angle, you see that it's simply a wind back counter run. So you get the puller with the guard, Tomlinson. You get Bawden, the fullback, the lead blocker. You get the angle. That's what I'm talking about here. You get the angle block, the place side down block by the right guard on the 2-eye defensive tackle. It allows the right tackle Mitchell to climb to the backside linebacker Jewell. This is so well executed, and you see that Bawden doesn't even really have anybody to block because the safety was removed by the jet action. And then you see Hall. He glides. He's a big back with acceleration and burst. He's smooth, he's fluid, and he glides. Again, they're not likely to have a 72-yard run, guys, against the Eagles, but they need to get him carries. They need volume, but they need production to some degree, or it's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah, I think the Eagles, the formula for success this week has to be force Zach Wilson to beat you, right? You know, he's shown some improvement over the last couple of weeks, but if you allow them to run an offense where you're just managing the clock and you're keeping everything in a down and distance manageable situation, then Zach Wilson is not having the pressure put on him that needs to be put on him. So the Eagles got to win on first and second down. Make Zach Wilson beat you on third down.
All right, Greg, nice job again. We will see you next week. And when you look at the Jets right now coming into this game, they just lost Elijah Vera Tucker, Dwayne Brown also down. They're down 2 tackles, and you've got an Eagles front that got 4 sacks in L.A. What do you expect this matchup of the Eagles ends and tackles against their line?
Attack. You have to attack that offensive line because they're down, as you said, a couple of people. But this is an Eagles front that they're really good at getting after the quarterback, and that's kind of what I expect. It's an offensive line with the Jets that they've had their problems. We've seen that throughout the first part of the season. I just think that they're going to have some problems. With Hassan Reddick now healthy and coming off the edge, the way he comes off the edge, yes, he got the thumb right. Josh Sweat on the other side played one of his best games, may have been the best defensive player on the field on Sunday. So this is the type of game where these guys up front know that they have to attack and make it difficult for Zach Wilson to get comfortable in the pocket.
Hey, welcome back to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. This is the Eagles' 4th road trip in their first 6 games. It's impressive what they've done on the road. Yes. So it is now time for Call Your Shot. Mike Quick, Ike Reese, who you going with this week?
It's easy for me this week.
Where you going, Q?
So they're always talking about, okay, it could be AJ this week, it could be Dallas this week. Well, when is it time for skinny Batman Devontae Smith? So I'm going Devontae Smith this week to have a big game. He's going to go over 100 yards. He's going to get into the end zone at least once.
I like it. I like that. And I like the fact you stayed on the offensive side of the ball because that gives me the benefit of going defense. And I'm not going to single out one player for you this week. I'm going with the entire defense. Now, hang with me here. I got 6 sacks and 3 interceptions.
3 picks?
3 picks.
Wow,
6 sacks, 3 picks. That's the type of game this defense is going to have this week. This will be a defense clinic they put on against this Jets offense.
Sounds like a party at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah,
Sack party and pick party.
Yeah.
All right. And how about Jalen Hurts? He's going for 12 straight road wins as the Eagles starter. The only other guys over the last 50 years to do that in the NFL, Tom Brady and Joe Montana. Very impressive what they've done on the road.
It's a decent group.
Yeah, that was my Call Your Shot right there. They're going to win on the road. Mike Quick, Ike Reese. I'm John Clark. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy Eagles Jets. Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by Pepsi, 0 sugar, 0 never tasted so good. That's what I like. Toyota, your local tri-state Toyota dealers, proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy.